to another podcast of Road to Abundance, guys. Today we have Dr. D. He's a friend that I met at the finance event, Platinum with Tony Robbins. Amazing guy I started to vibe with. And he's like, I do biohacking. I'm like, wow, I'm super interested. And that's where we are now doing a podcast. Thanks for coming, man.
I appreciate that. And do you know how we, actually, let me tell your listeners, he had a very kind action towards me, which I don't know if you remember, because
he gave you a seat.
He gave me a seat, bro. I could not. I took my son, little baby, and my wife to the event, so I was always getting there late, because I had to help. And I'm like, damn, yeah, everybody at the event's pretty nice, but this guy's just like, it's almost like he looks at me. I'm like, oh crap, I don't know who he is, but I'm like, I even told my wife, I'm like, I met this really cool guy, and I didn't even know he was a biohacker and all that stuff. So, yeah, I appreciate that.
Pleasure, man. I saw you were looking guys, it's a small room with 400 people, and I saw you were arriving late, and it's like looking for a seat when it's packed and Tony is talking. So I was like, I saw it, and I was like, yo, come, I have a seat. So man, yeah, and then we started talking, vibing, and you're a master at biohacking, and you're even more knowledgeable than me on the topic. I know a lot, but when I started talking with you and you went deeper in what you know, I was like, damn, I want to share that knowledge with people. And now I'm at your new center. It's not fully done, guys, but it's all the cool tools that a biohacker like me would love to have. And I was like, Marco, we need to make more center like that. So I want to hear your story. First, to have a center like that, become successful, your wife has an amazing center in front, you're rolling, the good life in Miami, the luxury, but you're also a very good person. I want to hear your backstory of how all that happened.
Yeah, man, just rewinding 38 years ago, I was born son of an immigrant family. My mom's Brazilian, my dad's Portuguese, and I was born in Newark, New Jersey. So I don't know if you ever saw the show Sopranos.
Yeah,
the mafia show or whatever. I was born in those streets, bro, those streets. So, and just worked hard. I've done everything, you name it, construction, cleaning floors, and, super proud of, the road that I've had to get here, right? And then I decided I wanted to go to medical school because to me that was something super, super important. I started to see probably what you felt at some point in your journey where it's like, man, I like the body, I like fitness. I started working out, I was chubby, I started working out at 12 years old. And then, but I wanted more. I was like, bro, this is so cool, etc. Did not have money to go to the gym, so built cartons and all those kind of years. I worked out in my bedroom at 5:30 in the morning for 6 years in a row, bro, with stuff I could find around the house.
No excuses, man.
Yeah, no excuses. Hanging myself from stairwell to do those abs, the crazy stuff. I did that 6 years religiously, dude. 14 to 21 years old. But anyways, so then I was like, let me go to med school. Story for another day, because that was, for anybody who thinks that you can't get there, you can't. Here, that was a little hard to get there, but finally got to med school. And ultimately, I kind of lost a little bit my vibe, second year med school.
Your passion?
Yeah, it's a good question. I lost my, the answer to you at that moment, yes. Okay? I didn't know what was happening, but I was like, stuff wasn't making sense that I was hearing in med school. The first year you learn biochemistry, and then you learn the sciences, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, right? And then you're going to learn how to fix it. And that's where I was like, whoa, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Some things were not jiving with me very well.
Yeah.
And then, I started being one of those annoying students to the professors, whatever. I wanted to be a surgeon. I wanted to be a trauma surgeon. So, I kept on my path. And I studied here at FAU, Florida Atlantic University of Pre-Med. I didn't get in the U.S. first shot into a U.S. medical school, so I went 2 years overseas to Poland. And then I came back to do my rotations.
You really wanted it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I really wanted it. There's an American program over there. It's all in English. It's like you get U.S. student loans. It's like a full American program. So I went there. I'm like, you know what? I didn't get in here first year. I'm going to go overseas. I went to Poland, different country, and studied there. And it was an awesome experience. But, after that, I came back to the U.S., did my rotations. Then I went to Cleveland Clinic here in close to Miami in Weston to do research for a year in metabolism. And we worked with 1,000-pound patients. But at that point, I'm 38 now, I was turning 30, and everything just went physically. That's how this was all born. Like I just like that was like punch in the face. Like
You were fat or like low energy or just not feeling good?
bro, I was starting to get like I was working out and my body wasn't responding anymore. Maybe we can even throw up a picture. I have like a picture I keep.
We'll put it in. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll put that picture.
Yeah, I have it. I'll give it to you. Like that picture right there is like me singing "Happy Birthday," like the cake to myself, and I'm like, I keep that picture forever. And but like, dude, and no shame in talking about it. Like sexually, wasn't feeling right. Like just I wasn't there, bro. No libido. No, I had like poor sex performance too. Tired, no energy, losing motivation to a point. My buddies that were with me at the hospital I was working at doing research. They sat down with me, and they're like, bro, long story for them to get this point, they do like this intervention with me, like we're having lunch, and they're like, bro, I think you're depressed, man. Like 3 of my good friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And they're like, bro, because you've been saying this, you said this to him, you said that to him, like even my work ethic was like, bro, just take a pill and you'll be good. I'm like,
take a pill and you'll be good. But it's good that you were talking about it. I want to acknowledge it because just so you know, guys, now the suicide rate of men is through the roof because people don't speak. So I love that you spoke about it. The response was not the best. Take drugs. We're going to talk about why it's not good. But I wanted to acknowledge that I'm super proud of you, man, for speaking up. Like it's the one step one.
Yeah, and even today, like even just reliving the story and like being vulnerable right now and saying, hey, I've gone through this, I've gone through that. I know people have gone through way worse. I'm just saying, everybody has their go through, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just sharing mine with the hopes to empower anybody that's out there, right? And not forget, the things that have forged today, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, bro, ultimately, that conversation and that period right there was when like, I don't want to do medicine. I'm done. So, went back home to the immigrant parents and they also were seeing I wasn't doing my best, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do exactly, whatever. And I had started an MBA through med school, like I started going to business school. I paused it and I said, I'm gonna continue that. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go through be a businessman. But in my head, I was like, I need to heal myself because I'm not feeling right.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's when I started studying again the biochemistry, the anatomy, the physiology, the immunology.
Study by yourself.
By myself. I just started listening to stuff and boom, boom. I went so deep. I went down the rabbit hole. And then ultimately, my mom's Brazilian, and in South America, there's a lot of natural medicine and so forth. Everywhere. Yeah, they focus a lot on that there. I ended up sitting with this doctor there. Long story until I got to this guy that's another.
Like an holistic doctor.
Holistic, but he does a lot of the movie stars there. So he's open-minded and so forth. He's like, and I tell him what my buddy's the story I just told you, and he's like, he looks at my blood. He had done a bunch of tests on me. I stayed in his center 6 hours, and he's like, you don't have depression. I'm like, really? He said, so what I have.
He's like, test.
That was bad. That was it wasn't low. I had high levels of SHBG, which was killing my free test. But that was part of the problem. But he's like, you have adrenal fatigue or adrenal insufficiency. And I was like, what's that? I didn't learn that in med school. I got a little arrogant because I'm like, I just quit my job as a researcher. I'm a doctorate in medicine. He's like, kid, there's a lot that they don't teach you in school. I was like, okay, what is this? So anyways, long story short, in 6 months, the guy fixes me.
Yeah.
I was so bad, I had to be put on bioidentical cortisol, so not corticosteroids, but bioidentical cortisol.
So you don't react negatively to the response?
Well, because my body was not producing enough cortisol. So I was super, super exhausted, super tired. I really pushed myself, we all do, but until the age of 30, I said, worked a bunch, just burned out.
Yeah.
And then I came back online, 6 months later, I'm like, whoa, I'm starting to feel good. I started testosterone therapy. I started a bunch of different things, cleaning up just the system. And bro, I came back online, and that's where, I'll pause there for now. That's where I started studying this stuff. I ended up getting board certified in alternative medicine. So nowadays I'm an MD, but I'm board certified in alternative medicine and more of a biotech entrepreneur. I run everything, etc.
Yeah.
I'll sit down with our clients, but we have our licensed physicians that do it, which you just met a few minutes ago. So, and that's the story that piqued my interest to where we are today. There's a little bit more, before getting hyperbaric chambers and all
Yeah, sure.
But that's really that was that pivotal moment in my life, and I see in a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, I got a similar story. That's why I did all my research for the last 15 years, and I went to Biohack conference. I did all that stuff. I did all the research by my own because I didn't believe in the system and I don't believe in school. That's another story. But even for training, because when they're like, it needs to be 20 years before we put that stuff in school, I'm like, 20 years in medicine and in training, I'm like, we're past 2000, we're 2020 and stuff. And I had I got a bike injury, motorcycle. I was driving 240 on the highway and I crashed it. I survived. The doctor didn't understand. I flipped with the bike. It was crazy.
You survived?
Yeah, I didn't break anything. I had
kilometers?
240 kilometers. I flipped with the bike. I did 100 meter of flipping, and then I didn't break anything, which they didn't understand. And then
Nor do I.
I had a third degree burn here. I'm tattooed on it. I had a few. I was at the big burn. It's burn. So they wanted to grief that to skin graft. That's why I have scars here. But I had some issue, and there were 36 doctors, all the best. They were looking at the case, and it's all free in Canada, and they couldn't figure out why my ankle with no injury, I was still having a lot of problem with. Couldn't do any sports anymore, but I was fully mobile. And my gut I was bleeding for years. I had 4 colonoscopy. I had a surgery in my intestine. They could still not figure out what was happening, and that's how I got very deep in biohacking.
No,
so similar story as you.
So cool.
I was depressed from losing so much blood every day. I was going to the bathroom 15 times a day. I had a Crohn's disease, but without Crohn's disease, so they can't say it's a Crohn. I didn't take the meds, and I healed it through energy work and biohacking. Wow. So that one got me very deep, because when you have to plan every, I couldn't go in boat because Crohn is when you need to go now. If there's no bathroom, it's not a gap. I'm not going because I need to go bathroom now. And I was bleeding from inside, which was causing a lot of air leak. And my iron was down because bleeding so much every day. And there's so many problems, and the doctor can do nothing. And you have the best team, everybody. I had 36 doctors at some point. They even put needle in my, long needle to listen to the frequency of the muscle and stuff. Couldn't figure it out. So they're like, you have nothing, bro. And they discharged me. So they were paying because it's an accident, a road accident in Canada. So then I was just tired, bro. So many appointments to the doctor. So that's when I got very deep in all I do. So it's funny that you have a similar story of you're all fucked up and nobody can help you in the traditional world. And then you're like, I need to figure out an alternative way. Yeah. And that's the passion that fueled all the study.
I know, man. Yeah. And then, going through this whole process and going through the motions, that's when I was like, you know what? Let me heal the biochemistry. And it's kind of like the system that we develop today, that we'll do today. And do you want to hear a little bit of our science?
Yeah.
I was hoping to say yes.
No, but all that stuff is where I'm lacking a little. I know hormones. I did competition. I train athletes. I know the testosterone, the thyroid, and the basic stuff. But when I heard you talk about even deeper, I was like, fuck, I need to learn from that guy. It's the deeper stuff. After that, I went more spiritual and coaching. So that's not what I do. But I want to hear it, man.
Yeah. So took a minute to get to this point, but this is here kind of the elevator pitch of the science that we do here. Just a little fun fact. Look, there's about 10,000 monogenic documented diseases, meaning 10,000 diseases that come from a gene, one gene, right? That's a lot of disease. 10,000. No doctor's going to know how to diagnose, treat, know the symptoms.
All from the same gene.
All from, meaning from one, not the same gene, but different genes.
Okay.
But one, and not combining genes, right? So, but what if I was to tell you that the pillars of, and this is our opinion, and especially if there's more clinicians out there watching this, I'm respectful with everybody's opinions. That's our way of viewing things. There's the pillars for all disease are 4 things. So inflammation, pretty easy to understand.
Yeah.
Oxidation, free radicals all over the place. Today we've already gotten hit with a few free radicals. Me too. It's around us. especially in this chemical jungle that we live in, right? Glycation, which is sugar issues, so glucose, which fuels cancers, fuels autoimmune disease, fuels a bunch of different pathologies in our body. Atherosclerosis and plaque, right, the number one killer in the U.S. And then ultimately, submethylation. That's a little bit more of an esoteric word, a newer word, but it's just a process of turning on and turning off certain genes. Meaning, like now we know that out of 10 cancers, 10, only 1 is genetic, 9 is environmental.
Is the epigenetic.
So which I'm going to get into that. Okay. Yeah, so that which is environment versus genes, right?
Yeah.
And that's actually the core of this company, right? And then there's also another fun fact that of those environmentally induced diseases, 70% are caused by foods.
Yeah.
That's in
the gut.
Yeah, that's insane. So those 4 pillars of disease, I call it SOGI: submethylation, oxidation, glycation, inflammation. And then that's kind of like the science of what we're trying to do with our clients. And you can do these things controlling it with hormesis, hyperbaric, and things like that. But that's not what we do as of this moment. Our company is about 4 years old. We've never used.
That's just our plus, the biohacking tool.
Yeah.
The gadget.
The gadgets, exactly. We've always been very data driven. So with precision testing, right? So then it's like, okay, that sounds cute, but how do we effectively control this, right? So that's where precision testing comes in, right? So we do insane testing, so personalized and data-driven testing to understand those 4 pillars inside your body. And then the next step is, okay, how do I fix this? Number 1, remove toxicity, right? Same thing, you buy a company, you buy an airplane, you buy an old boat, you buy a car, you want to restore a car. First thing you're going to do is remove rust, remove. That word, we're very, as
clean state.
Yeah, we're going to remove all the crap from our life, right? So remove. Number 2, replenish. So we look at that test, those various tests, so micronutrients, neurotransmitters, so like what's your level of serotonin, what's your level of ubiquinol, CoQ10, N-acetylcysteine, glutathione, like not even the testosterone, but deeper things, like so what are the levels of those? Let's replenish those, right? Peptides as well, because as we're aging, there's peptides that are diminishing, right? Like GHK copper and things like that.
Yeah.
Number 3, re-inoculate the gut flora.
Yeah.
Okay? And number 4, recover, which is 30% of the United States suffers with insomnia, doesn't recover right, etc. And then ultimately, when you do these 4, remove, replenish, re-inoculate, recover, you get to re-exist. How we came up with re-exist is basically you get to see your epigenetic age actually slow down. So, for example, last year I was aging at 85% of the year instead of aging 100% of the year. Which we can flash my data on the screen. We'll put the
data, guys. We'll put the data.
Yeah, you'll see like a little speedometer thing coming from the labs that we use, and you see it slowing down from one year to another.
Yeah.
So effectively, giving me more years of life. Yeah. And then, but for me to do that, I need to have actually a better quality of life. So I can't be stuffing myself with statins, ibuprofen, steroids, or whatever, because I won't get there. But then, but how'd you get the 6-pack? No, I got the 6-pack consequently by being healthy, which goes together with longevity.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's our system.
That's amazing, man. And I studied a lot of that. I just started following a guy that spent I don't know his name. He spent like $2 million last year, and now he's aging at 0.6.
So we use the same lab. It's the same,
exactly.
And there's an Olympics that I think he started it with a guy called Ryan Smith. He's the owner of True Diagnostic. Yeah, we're involved.
And that's when you said 0.85, I was like, but
he's beating me. He's
but
6 or something.
2 million invested, but it's like, and that's what he does all day. You work like right
but
now.
But you don't need to invest it. So here's the thing: you don't need to invest all that money. I'll actually show you how you can save money. So put more money in your pocket at the end of the year and live longer. Yeah, but just by, I'm not going to do the whole thing now, but so he's invested a lot in research and so forth, but you don't need to spend $2 million.
That's what people are interested in, guys. No. You don't need to spend $2 million, and we can reverse aging or slow your aging, however you want to call it. And
if I have to give you a number, I'll probably tell you could probably save 10% of your income and increase your longevity.
I love it. And also what I teach when I rewire people mind and all that stuff, and you know it because you do personal development, is the more you invest in yourself, actually the more, imagine guys, you have more energy, you're more driven, you have more motivation, because testosterone and all your hormones level, if you wake up and your brain is productive and you're biohacking, you're actually going to be focused in an alpha state for a longer period of time in your day. So if you're working 8 hours right now, your brain is not right, your hormones are not right, you're probably going to be working 2 hours or 1 hour that is productive, the rest you're just busy. What if we can give you 8 hours of productivity, or even 6, so you're cutting hours of work for more money, more productivity, more of everything. So that's kind of how I like to see it, that even if I need to invest, I'm recouping, because then I can go make money and do other stuff, and also improve my relationship, my sex, my libido, how I feel in life, how I show up, the energy. There's a lot of things.
Bro, that's everything. It's like, one thing is, and I say this to our clients all the time, I think we've gone maybe now through 3,000 clients or something, so it's a good number. We work with a lot of celebrities and a lot of very influential people that look for that 1%, we work with UFC fighters, NFL.
At that level, it's like 1% is already tremendous.
Yeah, exactly. So for you to just be up and just be more like, more lion, you know what I'm saying? It's like, when you hunt, you go do everything at 100%, instead of just, are you waking up to live, or are you waking up to, or survive?
Yeah.
It's like, you pick, right?
Yeah. And what do you think about, like, Bruce Lipton, epigenetic and all that stuff?
I think that Bruce Lipton is the OG, I consider him, the father of epigenetics. He came up with
that's where I learned all this stuff from epigenetic. Like, I found him, I studied him. I wouldn't say I know as much as you, I know a little.
No.
Can you share, to simplify it for people that don't know epigenetic, that he proved that the gene, basically, a lot of doctors were saying that the genes impact, and it's like, if your parents had that, you're going to get cancer or whatever, and he proved that it's not right, because they take twins and other stuff, and they prove that the environment is actually what transform your gene. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. So nature versus nurture, it's actually nurture, so basically, let's rewind. So how was epigenetics born, right?
Yeah.
So, when was the day that epigenetics was born? So, I actually knew the exact date, I don't remember right now, but it was in 2003, I believe April, something like that, when the Human Genome Project was finalized, right? So we were calculating how many genes are inside a human, right? And you can go Google this, look it up, and we were very excited to actually understand this whole genome project thing. Listeners might remember hearing the whole genome thing. Then it kind of got really quiet.
Yeah.
So let me see off the top of my head. So a grain of rice, okay? We had calculated a few things before getting to the exact number of a human, right? So a grain of rice had about 52,000 genes.
More than us, we have like 3,000?
You got it already. Yeah. So we were thinking we were going to have about 1 billion or something like that. We have 23,000.
Oh, okay. I was short a little.
Yeah. 52,000 genes for a grain of rice. I think what is it? A mosquito has like 170,000. A grape has like crazy numbers, right?
We're very simple.
We're super simple. And it's like, we're the most complex. So it's like, the whole scientific community was like, whoa. It's like, all right, I think all these medical books are all wrong. I don't like to generalize, but a lot of information was...
I'll do it for you. It's all bullshit. So you save your reputation.
I didn't say that. but the point is, as we're looking at all this data, it's like, okay, so what is defining Mike? What's defining Marcos or Dr. D, or whatever the heck you want to call me? My real name's Marcos, but everybody call me Dr. D. So what's defining you, right? So that's when it's like, wait, then maybe it is environmental. And up until then, we're just putting chemicals in the environment. I'll give you a fun fact. There's about 40,000 toxic chemicals listed in the United States toxic chemical inventory. And we only have studies for not even 3,000.
And that's just in the air, or in the food and everything?
No, in the air. But categorized, 40,000 of which one, God knows if there's even more, right? So, and I'll give you another fun fact. This has been done, I think the first studies maybe 20 years ago. where they've done studies to actually look at the umbilical cords of just born babies. So still connected to their mom. They take samples and they find more than 200 toxic chemicals of those 40,000 chemicals.
From the mom to the baby.
From the mom to, but the baby's already born with that. And that's why now you see things like, for example, the numbers of autism just got readjusted.
Yeah.
It was 1 in 10,000 in 1970, and then 1 in 52 until not too long ago. 1 in 52 kids.
1 in 52
kids.
Okay,
Kids
wow.
would have autism. Now it's 1 in 36. They just readjusted it.
It's crazy because what I teach also is like not only the food, the energy and everything. First, people do baby without, if you want to get like an energy level, people do baby just accident. They don't actually put the intention. That causes a lot of problems for the baby energetically. Then the way that they don't breastfeed, the food, the sugar, the chemtrail. We can talk about so many toxic stuff that is everywhere. And then people on top of it, you're being exposed to the EMF and all the cell phone and everything. And then, except for people like us that are gonna try to reverse it by doing a lot of things, most of people, they do nothing and they get all that. That was way different back then.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's crazy.
I always tell people, they're like, you know, because a lot of our clients, so like our program's not for everybody. Stop that.
I'm sure that might be louder. Okay. Because it's echo and we have the shotgun somehow. Okay, so we're talking about chemical in the environment and baby and the
So our program's not for everybody because the program's super intense. You know, a lot of our clients, like I'm a big injection guy.
A lot of needles.
A lot of needles. Yeah, just because, you know, like I don't buy supplements from a lot of these stores online that don't work, etc.
You don't assimilate them, like especially through the mouth. People, can you explain?
Well, the bioavailability is different. Sometimes it's like 70% difference, you know, in injectable versus, you know, taking B complex versus injecting B complex. I mean, it's bypassing so many different things. I mean, you inject it, think about it. You might have a little bit of fat. This guy, you're not gonna have much fat. I don't have much either, you know, so it's all hitting straight muscle, and then as it absorbs through those capillaries, it's in the bloodstream, boom, right? One thing is then going through your mouth, blah, 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 blah.
I even do a NAD suppository.
Oh, yeah.
It's not so fun. I'm trying to find the injection now.
I'll give it to you. We have intramuscular, you can take that every day. It's better than the suppository, I would say. But, so yeah, not all, but a lot of our clients, you know, do an NAD shot daily, you know. They feel the difference, like a cup of coffee for them. You know, so, and then a lot of clients tell me, it's like, wait a minute, but I need to take this stuff. I'm like, no, you don't need to take it. It's like you can continue on the path that you're on. Especially a lot of our clients that lose a lot of weight, anxiety tends to decrease, they feel better, they're more motivated, more energy, better sex, like they actually get those results. And like, wait, but if I stop taking this, will I go back to being the person that I was? Like, or worse, you know, because you're still aging, right? So
then you know what it feels to be 100%. If you're always at 30%, you don't realize how slow you are. Then when you start taking NAD and tests and stuff, it's like you become supercharged. And then when you go back to being normal, which is not the normal, which is the diminished version of yourself, you're like, wow, this is a slow hit. It's like hitting you even harder when you know what it is to be peak performance.
Absolutely. You know, and then I tell people all the time, like, you don't need this. You could just go, if you go live in the middle of the Amazon jungle, like pure air, and you're earthing, and you're grounding, and you're just feeling the quantum of the nature and connected. I mean, your listeners believe in this or not, but you're connected to your creator, your God. You know, so that's ultimately when you have that abundance of your connection back with nature. It's all here. It was given to us. You know, there's vitamins, for example, that's super hard to get your hands on. Like, obviously you've heard of B complex, B12. Have you heard of B17? I didn't even know about this until like a year and a half ago.
No.
B17 is found in fruits and I believe certain vegetables
that are not corrupt, because a lot of the crops now are genetically modified. Not to get into conspiracy, but just the crops all the organic crops that were in India, they all got destroyed by Monsanto. They bought everyone and they smashed everyone, and then it takes 10 years for the land to get clean again, so we're fucked and it was the biggest organic. So unless you're producing your own organic stuff and you found the crops, and now it's like you don't even get all those vitamins like before. It's proven that now an orange has like 20%, I think, or something. Don't quote me on the exact number, but like 20% or that it used to give in vitamin. So you need like 10 orange now.
So you're exactly. That's why I'm a big injectable guy. Like, and people that are following me, like I'm, you know, home. crazy hair, whatever, I'm in my kitchen, I'm like, here, I'm taking a shot of vitamin C and this glutathione and acetylcysteine, all this stuff. But we're living in, we've already gone through 2 agricultural revolutions. The first one in the 1970s with the pesticides, and then the GMOs in the 2000s, and then now, with 3D printing food that these guys are coming out with. It's like vertical farming, all this stuff, and it's like, really, you want to be healthy? It's like, I eat clean. I'm like, no, that's so. We should start a campaign. You eat clean. It's like, no, it's not even a case of that.
What they consider healthy, and even now the new guide, have you seen that they put like the Kellogg and all that stuff on top of steak? Bro, Kellogg.
Oh, the food pyramid?
All those things. I'm like, bro, where are they coming with that shit? It's like, it's crazy.
It makes no sense. And then, unfortunately, if you don't educate yourself, including us, like, there's things that, like, I'm like, until this day, I'm like, really? So it's
learning
like,
every day.
Yeah, no, I feel like, it's like I'm getting illuminated. Like, as I'm, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know it was like that, or I didn't know this was it. Nowadays that happens to me in maybe perhaps a little bit more deeper medical topics. Yeah. But it's like, bro, you gotta keep the education, listening to guys like him, and just educating yourself.
Yeah, and for people like, let's say they can't come see you right now, like what would be your top 3 supplement that your favorite go-to?
So, number 1, we're nationwide. So, like we just, if somebody's interested, we go to you. Anywhere you are in the country, draw your blood, and then meet on Zoom. We protocolize everything for the person. Most of our clients are not in Miami.
And then you can ship.
And then we custom make it in pharmacies, FDA regulated pharmacies. Not that, saying that it's more regulated. I'm not trying to, with all due respect with the FDA, I would say you eat their foods, you take their drugs, right? So, but I'm just saying the regulation is important on how medications are done and so forth.
Yeah.
But then we ship to the client, and then our staff, which you met some of them, they follow along every 2 weeks or every weekly with you because you're taking shots and a lot of stuff. I mean, our clients are taking like 15 to 25 different new things, supplements that we custom make for that client. And something we're going to start to do very soon is individualized peptide therapy, not even off the shelf peptides. So map out your DNA, map out HLA typing, and make the peptide specifically for you. It takes 2 to 3 months to make. And if you don't take it, it goes in the garbage, like, period. So, like, we're super designer. We do designer molecules for you.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
To make sure that it's for your body, because everybody's a little different. We can say overall stuff, but when you start customizing, that's the next level.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, favorite. It's not even a case of I have my favorites, but then I have like
essential.
You shouldn't even be walking the planet.
Say 3 essential, 3 favorite then.
All right. So number 1 is magnesium.
Which type? Does it matter?
There's 12 different kinds of magnesiums, right? As far as I know, the threonate, the citrate, glycinate, malate. It depends on what's going to be your goals, but you should really, talk to your physician about this. This is not medical advice, but
take 1,000.
I take 1.1. So
okay, I take 1,000.
Yeah, perfect.
Citrate, I think, or
citrate. I'm currently on malate, right? Okay. But citrate's good too. And just like some fun facts about magnesium, like even in traditional medicine, and if there's doctors watching, remember maybe a board question or a few board questions on the fact, like if you take an alcoholic from the street, right? Alcoholic in the street, and you give them a bunch of what they call a banana bag, right? Which is electrolytes and vitamins, not vitamins, but potassium and stuff like that to get the guy back up and going, and then you look at his sodium, potassium, and so forth, and it has not moved. Hypomagnesemia. When the magnesium is low, none of them can move. He's the boss. Magnesium is the boss.
So you have to inject it on top of it at a higher dose to replenish.
Yeah. So lots of times, like any traditional doctor, ER doctor will know that, and or any doctor will know. Or for example, a baby born before 32 weeks gestation. So you need to replenish with the magnesium for brain development. Or there's, in eclampsia, women having seizures and so forth, you use magnesium to calm down.
So you take 1,000 to replenish, or I take 1,000 just to maintain and stuff. like not medical advice, but let's say I'm low, can I take more, or just I keep 1,000 a day and that should be good?
So there's an old joke in functional medicine, which the basis of a lot of what we do here is functional medicine or orthomolecular medicine, but there's an old joke that says, you want to know how much the patient should take? Give him enough magnesium until he has diarrhea and take off a capsule.
I like it. So it's kind of never too much. Like it's, I mean, take until you feel good, and then you can start adjusting to find your proper dose.
And then you'll notice a difference in your sleep. You'll notice a difference in your mood. You know, magnesium is great. So I take about, honestly, I kind of gauge myself actually with my bowel movements. Yeah, not to get TMI here, but you'll know if it's a little mushy or whatever, maybe you're taking too much.
Okay.
Yeah. So the bowel movements and jokes aside is a really good way to gauge how much magnesium is in your system. But magnesium is super, 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 even like I said, in the hospital, traditional medicine. So magnesium is definitely one. I mean, again, you can't go without vitamin D. You cannot not talk about vitamin D.
Like, I know I have one that I drink, like I take in my mouth. Should like liposomal or whatever?
Liposomal, yeah.
Yeah, should you inject it? Is there a difference? Because I know sometimes most of the pill you don't absorb them or barely. But liposomal you will absorb if it's a better quality.
Yeah. So those are good. We go always, like our clients are doing blood every 3 months. No, we're doing blood, so we see. These capsules that we use are compounded. They come with D3, K2. But
so it's good to have the mix.
Oh yeah.
K2 and D3.
Yeah. And if you're curious on the story of K2. There's actually, as far as I know, there's 23 different vitamin Ks actually discovered. And the guy that discovered the first version of K, not K1, but K2, Dr. Weston Price was actually a dentist, and cool story, you can Google his story later. But yeah, K2 is super essential to absorb D3. And I think there's, don't quote me on this, it's 22, 27, something around there, about people that actually need a version of D2 as well, because they don't do well with just D3, K2. And that's
so they would need to add D2 on top to the mix.
Yeah, but be careful. This is where I tell people you should map out your genome.
Yeah.
Do that too. Like map out your DNA to understand.
We're talking general, guys. So that anybody come at him or at me. Now I'm trying to give practical advice for someone on an everyday, and then go map out your stuff. It's like if I'm giving you general advice on food or practice. Sometimes some people need to modify it to their needs.
The best advice we can give you is to go talk to your physician and ask him questions about that today.
The last one?
And then, as crazy as it may seem, and as simple and kind of overseen, is B complex, man. B complex is like, you need it for, look, if you have like angular chelosis, which is like the cuts on the side of your mouth, it could be a deficiency of riboflavin, which is vitamin B2. Alcoholics, they'll get a condition called Wernicke-Korsakoff, which is a deficiency in a B vitamin. It's just, you should be on a good B complex. If you can do that one injectable, that's the best. And then the vitamin D, I was telling you, we do capsules, but we do also oil injection of vitamin D.
Okay.
Especially for the guys, we tell them to mix it with, perhaps like testosterone or, something along those lines.
Okay.
Now, you want my 3?
Your favorite?
Yeah. So definitely methylene blue.
Yeah, I take it.
You do?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have the cap, like the tablet. I take it
for mitochondrial health.
And free radical, I think.
Yeah, free radical and so forth.
I have it at home. I have glutathione and NAD that I really love.
Yeah, and NAD for sure. Then another one, again, this is me. I'm personally a big believer. It's a very expensive supplement. Do not go buy counterfeits of this. You can hurt your health. And there's unfortunately a big business of this online. I haven't said the name yet. I'm just like drum roll, making the suspense. Yeah, you definitely want to have a stash of that. If you don't know what that is, that's vasodilator, really good for.
Good for the nootropic and the. Also good for your second brain, guys, if you know what I'm talking about.
And really good if you're athletic, actually for vasodilation of the lung. So if you're gonna
I
do
think-
sports. Yeah. And it's
Tastes good too.
Yeah, it's a win-win, and it's actually it's not on the prohibited substance list. As far as I know from this date.
No, it's not. You just need the prescription.
Right. On the World Anti-Doping or United States Anti-Doping. So I was going to tell you actually, growth hormone.
Okay.
I'm a huge believer in growth hormone.
Yeah.
Huge.
The full growth hormone.
Full growth hormone.
More than the peptide, like more than the extracted like peptide.
Well, I mean that's going to
because
depend.
they're different prices.
Yeah. I mean, well, my main point is that you get your IGF-1 and IGF-1 BP3 levels to where they need to be. And if you go to a physician that knows how to do this, he'll do like insulin resistance testing, where they give you like a little bit of insulin and see if your your levels are appropriate, etc. So if you do have a deficiency, it's something to be considered. That you talk to your physician about, because I mean, all the longevity studies and all the stuff that we're seeing, like the same way you need to have your hormones optimized. Yeah. Not only your sexual hormones, but how about your adrenal gland hormones, which that's going to be my third favorite one. But also your growth hormone levels, etc. Like all your hormones, to me, need to be at the level of a 21-year-old, 18 to 20-year-old, sustained as much as you can for the rest of your life. I don't care if you're 85 or 105. Why? What's wrong with me setting those hormones? Oh, it causes cancer. So if you go see a lot of the new studies that are coming out, etc., there's a great study. We'll throw it on the screen here too. Has 11,000 and something participants. I haven't even read the study in a while, and it goes into a few databases like PubMed, etc., looking at all the growth hormone studies in the past. So it's not a new study. It's looking at previous studies.
Meta study.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a meta-analysis. Okay. And then it goes, I think, into the web of China. So it's three different countries. I think Germany, something like that. You guys will see the study on the screen. And it looks at all three and pulls all this data. All three databases pulls all this data. So it's almost 12,000 patients. And they do a meta-analysis and apply statistical models and so forth. And the conclusion is adults with growth hormone failure, growth hormone deficiency, growth hormone actually helps to prevent cancer, not cause cancer. Yeah. And this is what I tell, in my head, to my family, to my parents, I give this stuff to my parents, my wife.
Hormone is good, I believe.
Bioidentical. Bioidentical hormones, the hormones that your body produces, you have two chemical interventions in your life. This is the easiest way I can explain it. You have two chemical interventions in your life. You have puberty, feel great. Yeah. And then you have menopause or andropause for guys. Yeah. But then life tends to kind of suck after that, right? Yeah. And if you're older and you've passed menopause and andropause, it doesn't need to suck. It'll be really, really good.
Testosterone, hormone, we got you.
Yeah, get you right, So you have two chemical interventions. When do you have the highest levels of hormone? Here, in puberty. Yeah. When do you have the lowest levels of cancer? Here as well. When do you have the lowest levels of hormone is in menopause and andropause. When do you have the highest levels of autoimmune cancer, etc.? Here as well. Yeah. So wait a minute, are your hormones protective or not against?
Too much is not good, and just right is good.
But even on the too much side,
it's better than the too low.
Yeah, so for example, a hormone that like insulin turns on mTOR. mTOR, yes, mTOR is super associated to cancer, and the fact that we're always eating and spiking insulin. Actually, fasting, which won the Nobel Prize, I think 2015 or 16, something like that.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah, what's one of the biochemical principles by which fasting is actually very good for your hormonal, to help with longevity, right, is actually because it increases growth hormone levels. So I love growth hormone. I think it's essential.
And the stem cell, it's like after 72 hours, start cleaning and producing stem cell, and the cleaning, like when you do the 3-day fast and more, it's like it increases
the fast.
On the fasting,
Yeah, that's prolonged fasting is really good.
It's really hard.
It's super hard, bro.
It's a mental challenge. And also one cool thing that you guys might not know, but when he's talking about aging, even if you're 60, 70, 50, there's a study that proved that you can build the same amount of muscle as a young guy. They proved it. So there's no...
Really?
Yeah, there's a study that they studied the muscle growth and stuff, and you can recoup back your strength. What would be the problem is your bone density and your nervous system. So the thing is, like, once you take care of that and you maintain and you empower it, then it's good.
Well, speaking of bone density, you literally just got off our DEXA scan in our other location, and we've been pretty successful in helping people recoup that bone density too. And actually what you're talking about, there's a doctor, his name is Robert something, and he in his 60s sought out to do, he said he was going to improve his vision, improve his hair, improve it. I forgot his last name right now. I think I could find it in our notes and then maybe throw it up here. And he has pictures when he's 90-some years old, like, bro,
Shredded.
on a beach, like, jacked and then
That's
mysteriously died.
Yeah. Like Doctor said, bye.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I heard about that one too. But the thing is, I really believe in having your bioidentical hormones levels appropriate. Not too much. Just right. And then my third favorite one. It's not for everybody, but I just think it's so cool, and it's and I mentioned it a little earlier. It works really well. It helps so many people, and especially if there's clinicians out there, maybe go study a little bit on it if you're not aware of this. But bioidentical cortisol.
Okay.
Because people, just life hits people so hard, and then you have the, oh shoot, it's Friday, I had a tough week, I'm tired, let me go sleep the weekend or whatever your schedule is. But then you have people, it's like, you look at your kids, you look at your wife, or you look at your husband, you think about your job, and you just want to freaking run the other way, right? That's when the person's like, whoa. When that person's having those kind of thoughts, which I've been there, done that, that's when it's like, man, are you burning out? Are you having, I don't really agree to say there's adrenal fatigue, because the adrenal gland doesn't totally fatigue, but there's an adrenal insufficiency. I mean, it does like really go down, and that's when you
So you need bioidentical cortisol.
So because your body's producing cortisol, right? I don't remember exactly right now the dosage that it produces. It produces like 0.08 micrograms per whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't remember that off the top of my head. On average, right?
Okay.
But just like doesn't your pancreas stop producing insulin in case of diabetes when you push it too much?
Yeah.
What you do, you have insulin resistance, right? And then your pancreas has to push more and more insulin.
Yeah.
And what do? Which that's really, forgive the colloquialism, forgive the word, it's stupid. You get more insulin, right? To the person, but same thing, your testicles burn out because of age, and then you got replenished with the testosterone. And women, their ovaries, estrogen, progesterone, etc. So how about the adrenal gland? When you push the adrenal gland, how do you push the adrenal gland? Well, listen to the name of the gland. It's, there's two glands, they sit above your kidneys, and listen to the name, adrenal. So what does it do? It releases adrenaline. So you're
stress level all the time.
Yeah, stress. You don't know how to put yourself in deep parasympathetic states, right? And if you're tracking HRV, for example, you'll see that your HRV is all jacked up, long term, etc. You don't know how to rest. You don't know how to meditate. You don't know how to pray. And I know this resonates with you, both of us. You don't know how to put yourself in a state of like this, just like Zen, right? And then you just go, and I gotta get it, especially for you entrepreneurs out there, like go. And this is what sometimes I've told some of our clients, dude, you're so poor, all you have is money. And these guys are super well. I'm like, dude, your health is falling apart, your marriage is falling apart, your relationship with your kids are falling apart. And that person tends to be the person that they, come to a realization they don't have that. Like
money is after that they're like,
oh, screw the money. And then that's when you need to help rescue this guy chemically. And then there's a lot of other things you need to do. Like,
if you're at that point, you need breath work to reset your parasympathetic. You need to have a vibe bed. I take people on a psilocybin journey. There's a lot of other shit too. If you're at that point, bro, and you got money, it's like there's things that you can do, but it's just don't get to that point. Like if life is not good and you think that only hustling is the key. No.
Actually, and I don't like to say this too much because it sounds a little salesy, but I don't know how many times I've heard clients tell me, dude, I'm producing more money because of how I feel.
Yeah.
So like, bro, I'm waking up and I'm like, oh, let's go. I'm cool, calm, and collected. My patience is better. So that's really connected. So finishing off, methylene blue, growth hormone, and bioidentical cortisol, which is not for everybody, but.
And I want to also bring the fact that you have a kid, beautiful relationship with your wife, you're both like doing amazing stuff.
She beats me sometimes, bro.
You're the biological dentist. Like, relationship is rolling. Like, you're a model that people need to inspire. Obviously, I don't know, deep down, I have a good feeling with your energy that's where we're vibing, and I respect that. What your routine look like on a daily basis, kind of like, yeah, you take supplement. You said you meditate. Do you do breath work? Do you do? You have all the biohacking tools, the gadget. Like, what does a day in your life look like?
So, I mean, what you're seeing, like with my wife, and and we've met each other at other points, and with my kid. I mean, it's better than what it even looks. Like, we really have such a cool relationship. Her and I, we were cat and dog the first years. So we built what we have. It's built.
Like fighting.
Oh yeah, like terrible fights, like nothing, no.
Punch her. No. Now she understands who's the boss.
My wife only talks to me on her knees, telling me, "Get out from under the bed. I won't beat you anymore." It's a corny joke, but no, we built it. Like that relationship is built, and I treasure it and value it more than anything, just because of even the amount of work that went into it and where we're at today. It's like, dude, I vibe with that chick so much. Like, it's just
that's the most important thing, the most precious thing that I see that you have in your life. Like, I like all the rest, but I see it because it's a reflection of what I have with my girlfriend, and I see that it's true. Like, I coach a lot of people, and relationships is the number one thing that people don't have, and they want the most. So that's when I see you too, the chemistry and stuff, it's a beautiful relationship. Right now, guys, you don't see it on camera. That's why I want to put it out there, because when I reach to people to do podcasts and the vibe, it's not only that he's very successful and he has money and all the cool stuff. Relationship is on point, happiness is on point, and the health is on point. So this is why I appreciate everything that you do.
No, but it's, and I'm so grateful to be here with you, and I didn't even know you had all these criteria. So, I mean, that makes me feel so honored and grateful, man. But yeah, the key, like Tony Robbins says, he's like, I built this motherfucker, and that's the truth, my day, consists of waking up, and 4 days a week I get the living daylights beat out of me. I train pretty hard. I train on a professional jiu-jitsu team. I'd say probably the worst one on the team. They're pros, world champ this, world champ that. So train there, and then come to work. Or the other days, I do sparring, Muay Thai, but real sparring. And my coach was just in the UFC last weekend. His fighters were fighting. So pretty hard, and then lift weights. So right there,
and you have a trainer. That's cool to acknowledge. You have a trainer for everything, which is high successful people. That's what they do. You also in Tony Robbins, which is a personal development group. You're in the Platinum. That's where we met. So it's important to acknowledge that you have a mentor for everything, and you invest in yourself. Just as you tell your client to invest in their health, you invest in everything too.
Bro, there was a point last year I counted 11 coaches.
That's good.
See, like 11. My gun coach, which is a very, very active guy here in the SWAT team in Miami. My jiu-jitsu coach, like I do one-on-one, Muay Thai coach, personal trainer. Like, I know how to train, but I will not push the weights that this guy is like, I'm like, dude, I thought we were done. And he's like, no, go.
Yeah.
Or like,
pushing you over the top,
No, dude, the other day we were doing leg extensions, right? And then he puts the whole rack. I'm like, oh my God. Do one of those. And then he's a big guy. He stands on the thing. And I'm like, what, you stupid? I'm like, what's wrong with you? He's like, go. I'm like, I would never do that. You need somebody to push yourself. And I was in a place for many years, I was like, I got this. I don't need anybody. Go find the best in the world.
If you can afford it, you should. I've been a celebrity trainer for a while. And now I do like the whole spectrum of rewiring the mind and more than just the health, because I wanted to help people deeper than that. But you need a coach. Like, it's gonna push you so much further, and that's why I appreciate that. And to finish the podcast, I'd like for readers, because you're very educated, you also self-taught a lot of things. What's your top 3 books?
Top 3 books in this area, the biohack?
No, anything, bro. Business, mindset, anything. Can be also like relationship book, anything.
Without a question of a doubt, Without a question of a doubt, the Bible's number one.
The Bible. Okay, very, very.
Yeah, and I have when I say it, like I have read it head to toe and spend time with it. It's just there's relationship advice in there. There's financial advice. There's life advice.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of different advices in there. And when I say the Bible, I'm not saying it even from a religious aspect. I'm just saying from a
There's
life
some good
manual.
stuff.
There's really, really good stuff in there. And then, so many different books. But then I'd probably say a book that really, really, really set me on a good path was Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah,
And again,
classic.
classic, man. I mean, I'm gonna go kind of classic.
Reread it because it's
You
like
have to,
you need to read it a few times. Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of up. I need to
Me too. I
read
think.
it again. That book to me was like really, really freaking eye opening. It's just, and it's not about the rich aspect. If you have not read the book, it's not Think and Grow Rich about being rich. It's the word abundance, right?
Yeah.
That I really like, and then I'd probably say the third book. It's I always get mixed up with the title, How to Win Friends and
Influence Other people, Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie. Yeah, it's
Classic, but must read all three for sure. Like they're there. I read them at 19, and I reread them, and I just bought. I lost the book, or I gave it to a friend. And a lot of people don't give me back my goddamn book, but I bought again the How to Influence People because it's been like 6-7 years I didn't read it. And I was like, I need to reread it one more time.
Yeah, I'm up for reading all these books too. And when I say I'm up, it's like been 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But it's just such an eye opener, and I feel like I know probably, maybe I should have said some medical books or whatever, but these books have guided me to be at the point where I am with medicine. So it's impossible not to mention these books first.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast, bro. Let them know where to find you. What's your IG handle, your website, if they want to work with you, if they want to have their stuff done. And also, if they live in Miami, all the cool stuff. Like they want to work with you, where they reach you.
So, forgive us for our online presence isn't that strong, and we've always been actually word of mouth. That was our only kind of marketing. So, but you can go to biohaxx.com, biohax.com, or you could go to our Instagram, same thing, biohax, but with an S added to it. And find us on Facebook as well. And if you guys are interested in anything that we said here, you can book a discovery session with us, which will sit down with you and just really go deep into your goals and show you how we can get you to those goals and live a longer and healthier, happier life.
Amazing. So I'll put all the links below, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope that you learned also the importance of all biohacking and how it's going to improve your life tremendously. I'll see you in another podcast.